Here.
Yes?
As you say yes, it kind of echoes off of boughs of trees sprouting in front of you. A whole forest opens up wide.
I feel a calmness as I feel at home. I feel back in nature. Perhaps waking from a horrifying dream. Flashes of memories of being frozen and things, but I find solace in the uniformity of the trees.
So uniform as the trees sprout and materialize off in the horizon. It seems geometric, a pattern, repetitive. Rapidly, these trees are expanding and growing, the canopies growing wider and wider. You hear the voices of your friends. Kian!
Elaine!
Kian!
Eli!
Kian?
Una, are you guys okay?
You chase after the voices, and almost like a maze, the trees propagate in front of you, stopping you from the directions that you're going.
Drat! Can't you move, please? I'm trying to get to my friends.
You should have saved us.
I tried. I was duped. Tricked. What could I have done?
You should have known better.
Eli, I've been the protector, the silent protector for so long. What could I have done better? I went along with your plan.
Our plan. Your plan.
More. I trusted you.
The trees begin to enclose on you, creating a tight and confining space that's almost claustrophobic.
I'm just trying to find any sort of center that I can and try and block out and find my attunement with the earth beneath me. Do I feel any sort of connection, or am I completely disconnected from nature again?
For but a moment, as you assess your surroundings, there appears to be a complete disconnect, so much so that there's a part of you that's starting to realize this isn't real. And as you kneel on the dry earth, it's almost as if a small seed begins to grow and sprout out of the ground, reaching up.
Try and cup the earth around it to provide it security and something to protect it from just this presence, this disconnection that I'm feeling.
Those trees continue to compact your space, and in your hands, you hear, you can still make a difference.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
It grows further. Trying is all one can do. And it grows and it grows and it does. The boughs of the canopies of the trees begin to bend back.
I put my hand on the tree and try and put my thanks and my thoughts, my connection into the tree.
Your hand touches the tree. There's a melding of sorts. You're almost passing through it, into it, and as you do so, you wake up. You knowingly wake up because you were inside of a tight, cramped cell. And as you observe your surroundings, you notice all of your friends are also in cells. Not only are you the first to wake up, but there are whispers on the wind. Help us, redeem us, save us, heal us.
I'm here. I can do it. I can save you all.
Elaine, through a foggy, smoky haze. A blackened, twisting motion of soot and carcinogens floating throughout the air. You find yourself wading through this field of smoke, searching. For a moment, as you call out, it's almost as if your voice is seized. There's no sound coming out as you cry for help. For a moment, you feel at a loss. You stop and you sit, and as the clouds accumulate all around you, you recognize that this state of unknowing is so familiar to you, so empowering to your own mental mind that this is home. You're used to being here. And you hear a voice call out, "My son! My child!" As it rings through all of that smoke, what do you do here?
I look for them. I look for the ones I lost. I find no one.
You stand up and move through the clouds of smoke, waving your hands around, finding no one. You still hear, almost as if opposing distances every time you move forward, "My son! Elaine!"
Father? Where are you?
A blackened shadow rises from the smoke, and you see Dion, hands out, swirling magic through the air. He quickly melts. The scene becomes almost white. The smoke is gone, and it's hard for you to even open your eyes. The light is so bright. "No, my son, your father is gone." Footsteps. A woman, or at least seemingly so in shape, approaches you. Her silhouette, backed by light in the distance, reaches out a hand. "My son, you are meant for great things. You are meant for so much more. Be not angry with yourself. Be not angry with the Asari. Find your anger in those who would do wrong." She reaches out.
I try to reach back.
You try to reach back,
I try to reach back to her.
and your hand freezes in midair. And as the distance begins to separate the two of you, you wake, shaking in a cold sweat. You are inside of a deep, deep recess, barred and ironed in a cramped cage. And you see your friends also within different cages. Eli. In a near crystalline frozen state, you see the hand of Dion swirling through the air. And as your muscles and limbs freeze up, it's like layers and layers and layers of ice continue to build outside of you, continuously frozen. Ever a reminder that you cannot move, you cannot aid, you cannot fight. The vibrations echoing through the layers of ice remind you of a time which you find yourself lost in now. Fields and stacks of hauled chunks of boulders and rock, stained a brownish dark red, appear in front of you, a mountain, and you're being told, "Finish your job!" as a lash whips into your back. "Faster!" You also hear the cries of your friends as that continuous blackened silver funnel freezes you all. What are you doing here? What are you thinking? What is Eli feeling here?
I move faster. I work harder. I lift the heavier things so the others don't have to.
As you continuously haul these rocks, breaking, using your ice, using your fists to pummel them into pieces, you hear the screams and the cries of your friends once more, echoing off of this stony canyon.
I start hurling the rocks in any direction I feel like might reach this threat. And break them and launch them as like my rage drives a physical frenzy, trying to cause some kind of change, some kind of result. I bash my chains against the rock, knowing that they're limiting what I can do, what I can achieve.
And as the metallic clanging of these chains resonate off of this rock, the scene warps from a stinging pain and a biting cold into a warm hearth, the smell of fresh baked bread wafting in the air. And you hear more. I do have a plan. We can make this work. The four of you, you will distract everyone on the outside. I will slip into Ram Hall, and from there, I will make my own distraction. You follow in after me, get inside, steal these scrolls, and maybe we can make a difference. Maybe we can stop this madness.
No.
No?
No.
The rest of your friends turn and all look at you aghast.
There's no need. I'll do it myself. I'm plenty of strength. I can get in there and get out.
Eli, you know that you need the help of your friends
I
here.
don't. Not if it puts you in the line of fire.
We are all of us, your friends included, in the line of fire. Already.
You'll be free. Once it's all over, you'll be free. I will go ahead. I will make the move. Stay here. Stay hidden.
And as Eli storms out of Nora's bakery, the scene shifts once more. And you find yourself fluttering your eyes awake into a deep and desolate, cramped cell once more. At first you think it's the dungeons of Ram Hall, but as you blink and look around, you realize not only is this not Ram Hall, But your friends are here as well. Una. A swirl of confusion, a whirlwind of silvery ice and blackened mist covers your entire periphery, sending you to and fro in waves. And you hear in the background, almost like your father's voice, "I told you to stay quiet! Stay out of the business of your brothers and sisters!" It kind of fades more into smoke. Then you hear echoing like thunder on the plains, physically appearing before you, climbing the handholds of the tower into Turach. You see your friends just after escaping the clutches of the forest. You remember feeling tears on your body where the sharp parts of the brambles and twigs had dug into your skin. And once more it fades, and you stand frozen. Except this time, as you stand frozen, seeing all of your friends around you being hauled off by trees, you remain there. What are you doing here? What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I am thinking that it's my fault that we are where we are, that each one of my friends did everything they could. They used their magic to their fullest, to the point of having nothing left, and I did nothing. If I had done more, we might have escaped.
You hear echoes of that whispering in the wind as past memories continue to bubble over. You did nothing. You couldn't help. I told you to stay quiet. That feeling of dread and despair continues to sink your heart deeper and deeper and deeper. And for but a moment, you feel a cold, shocking splash. And as you awake, you find yourself uncomfortably situated in a tight, cramped, vermin-infested cell within some darkened place. The four of you creeping into consciousness, your perceptions beginning to sharpen. Less blurred visions mar your sight. Deep, damp, and earthen smells begin to fill your lungs. And you realize that there's a slow wobbliness in sort of your balance, almost as if a pendulum motion is occurring. As you begin to look up and take in the scenes around you, you find yourselves sitting each in separate, individual, almost bird-like wrought iron cages hanging from the ceiling by thick chains. There are several of these cages lining your field of sight, hanging from the ceiling, most empty. And as you begin to mark that, you begin to see each other, the four of you, plus one more near familiar sight. The scraggly-haired human visage of Moore. Gaunt and malnourished, seemingly asleep, with his light breathing slowly rocking his cage back and forth.
You had mentioned in my visions that I had woken up first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, psst, Eli, are you awake?
No.
Yeah, careful. We're way up here.
Yeah, that's a long drop.
Looking far below, you see just at the bare edge of your periphery, darkened, dirty cobblestones. This room is near pitch black.
Una. Careful. We're in some sort of cage. Elaine.
What the?
Chill. Even-headed. Don't make any sudden movements. I think that's more in that last cage. The room.
That's pretty beat up.
He's breathing.
Is he awake? More.
So you guys eventually pick up in frequency and cadence of addressing him. You see, almost feel the creakiness of his eyes fluttering open as they kind of adjust. Just large pupils. No, I must be dreaming this again. Be quiet, please. I'm trying to sleep.
More, we're actually here.
More, it's us.
No. No.
Yeah.
It really is us.
Yeah.
We're here.
My kids, this... What happened? How...
We were fools. We were played as fools.
He tricked us.
We thought we were following your command, your plan, and it was not you.
What plan was this?
To steal the scrolls.
He has them all.
You hear like a little bit of him nearly puking, but the wretch has no substance, and he goes, This is terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I've been here. Weeks, maybe months. He kind of like pulls himself up, and you can see like as the scant shredded clothing begins to fall, like his arms are very weakened where he was once muscular. This cannot be. He must have. No. There's no way. He could not have taken my recipe. Maybe he just.
He seemed to have been familiar enough with your process that he finished a 13th scroll.
13th?
13th scroll. We stole all 12 of them, and Elaine had stolen the 13th off of the factory floor. And we trusted him. We saw your face, and we trusted him. And we gave him every single one of them.
And it made so much sense, too.
Yeah.
It seemed like this was finally our moment. We were gonna be heroes. And we've made things so much worse.
And he says that he's got a use for us, or else we'd all be dead.
Yeah, I don't know why. I have no idea why he kept us around. I guess, Una, you said you heard him think he has some sort of ulterior motive for keeping us alive?
I think he thinks we're better off to him than dead.
Clearly. Yeah.
I cannot believe these will be dark days for many, and he gets cut off. There's a loud crack and then squeaking sound of hinges. Footsteps.
On the cobblestones below?
Looking down, you see what appears to be Dione. Same, like, elegant and sharp features, except hair possibly a little bit longer, pulled back in a intricate braid. Arms kind of folded into some deep robes. I knew he had terrible plans. I didn't think that he would actually go so far as to...
You're the one who put us here. What are you talking about?
No.
Who are you?
My name is Storcha. You're in some diabolical holding area that my brother has pieced together. And as she, her eyes continue to, gaze and flit in between all of yours, but lingers on Elaine's longer than all of you. Listen, we don't have much time. I am here to set all of you free.
Another plan.
No, I swear to you this. Whatever the plan is, dash it all. My brother has these scrolls, and all I care for right now is the safety of you five.
How am I supposed to trust you? How are we supposed to trust you after what your, as you say, brother has put us through?
Like you had no idea what he was planning.
I knew exactly what he was. I didn't know what he was planning. You see her getting a little bit desperate in the face. I've known that there has been a darkness inside of him for centuries. Growing in envy and spite and pride. And she shuts this door behind her as she notices her voice echoing off the walls as it gets louder. Looking around, hands out of her sleeves, begins messing with a winch-type system. And as you hear a clanging of metal and a sound of chains unrolling, you fear cells descending. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to. I was content to stand by, hoping he would fail. I had no idea that he would involve children. No matter. She flits over to a part of the wall where there's instruments all hanging up on hooks, some of them rusted and some of them caked in brownish, muddy material. In this low light, it's kind of hard to tell, but eventually rummaging through some drawers, she pulls out a large set of keys. One by one, begins unlocking doors. Listen, I don't care if you don't believe me. I'm letting you go. I don't care if you leave here, right now. In fact, that's probably the wisest for all of you. But I no longer will sit idly by and watch my brother bring destruction and death upon this world. She slowly, leans her head over, looking curiously at Elaine. You said you stole one?
I did.
Would you be willing to steal more? Steal them again?
Why?
If at all possible, we could potentially stop him from causing a calamity.
I'm not getting tricked again. This is some twisted joke. You're going to bring us to him, and he's going to torture us further. I'm sitting right here.
If he wanted to torture you further, and I was him, I'd leave you in those cages, and I would start. That's how he operates.
More. Do you know this person?
He's kind of weakly struggling to get out of his cell. I've seen her before, I think. Diam's twin sister. I cannot say if this is her or not. Does anyone know? Could anyone say?
Can I try to remember if I know?
Sure. It's gonna be a mind check.
5.
5's not bad. It's a very weak partial success. You do know that Diome has a twin. You do know that her name is Dorcha. If this is the person, you're not certain.
Well, Dorcha, as a show of faith for us to even consider following you on this fool's errand, I want you to do any healing magics or any salving you can to Moore here.
I can try.
He's going to be more of a hindrance to us in his state if we were to attempt this. And if you have any hope of swaying our, at least my opinion, I don't know how you guys feel, but I want you to do right by Moore.
I can try. It's not my area of expertise. Does anyone here know healing that could potentially aid me?
You know something.
I could try. But I agree with Kian that once we're set free, I think that we should be able to go on our own without any hindrance, just as a show of faith that you are who you say you are, and you truly want to help us.
Agreeable.
Okay, so
go ahead and roll a spirit check.
Okay.
And as this woman basically leans close to you and puts her hand on the small of your back, and like there's this soft glowing light, you guys can also start to feel like the room get a little bit cold. She's giving you aid in this circumstance, so add an extra dice to the spirit roll. Ooh.
Not bad.
12.
12 is a full success. What does it look like when the healing magic that you wield heals someone, especially from a point of like malnourishment and muscle atrophy?
Right. Well, I mean, because Una can draw in from the air around, and this isn't the most ideal place. It's not the purest air. So she really has to feel out for any kind of fresh air or anything that she can draw in from to pull in the snow, the cold. But in that element and in the pure air, she can draw in something that would help to heal his muscles, help sustain him. She's not healing any kind of wound or anything like that, but she is building him up.
You guys start to see like a little bit more of a shine or like a gleam on his skin where it was becoming wrinkled and cracked, and in fact like his dry cracked lips that were peeling and bloodied in places begin to smooth over and heal. His eyes, which were beginning to sink into the sockets, just ever so slightly pull forward, and he stands up kind of much straighter than before, leaning onto the cage prior, barely able to walk and was wobbly. Like he stands up and I definitely feel a little better, at least like I could run with the four of you.
Okay, Dorcha, I saw that you assisted Una. For now, you have my trust, but I'm watching you. I'm not gonna get tricked again like I did.
Please do. I don't want you to get tricked again. Any of you. I don't want any of this catastrophe to unfold in ways that it possibly will. In fact, if I was the four of you, I'd head as far south as I could.
I agree.
If we can't stop him, that's the only thing we can do is run.
Just run away. Leave the mess that we've created behind. No.
Eli, as much as I usually disagree with your brash intentions, I'm mad. Let's hit this guy where it hurts. Let's take these scrolls back.
We're gonna fix this or we're gonna die trying.
Elaine?
I'm in.
Una?
We need a plan. We need a place where we can kind of recoup and get our wits about us.
Well, you know I'm all about the plan.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. As long as we're We're not going in.
Foolhardy.
Yeah, I wanted to have a solid idea. Dorcha, if you can help and help us to know where to access them. We need to find a safe place, and we didn't have much time to begin with. So I say we get out as fast as possible.
Her eyes like quickly flit over to Elaine and then over to Moore and says, "Friend, I know that you also, like these young ones, are skeptical of me. But don't you remember those decades ago? Is it decades? It must be shy of 2. Yeah." He looks up and says, "You? No. That... Were you the one running in the rain with the child?" "That was me. I think we do have a place that we could hide. At least for a little bit. Gather our wits, eat some food, come up with ideas."
Right.
You see just barely a weak smile on her face before she looks away and kind of... There's a sad like lamentation in her eye, and she turns around and says, "If we're going, let us go now before we are found."
Okay, 1 second though, real quick. And I reach over and pinch more. Like, I just pinch the head.
Ow!
Okay, just making
Okay,
sure.
rude. You broke a little bit of skin there.
I'm sorry. I'm really sore about getting tricked. I don't appreciate being fooled.
Let me attempt this. You like heel of bread dipped in rosemary butter.
It's more. Stop, I'm so hungry.
I'm sorry, I had to do something
No,
there.
you're right.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Come. As you guys exit this room, it is like a strange spiral-like catacomb of stairs moving up with different wings heading off in several directions. Passing by a stone door, circlish in shape and completely plain, albeit with a little bit less cobwebs around its hinges. There's no handle, and Dorcha doesn't stop by it. She continues going up these stairs, and the rest of you follow suit. Eli, you start to hear like this strange, soft hum as, you know, taking up the rear and watching the backs of your friends. You see them passing by this doorway as they continue spiraling up these stairs, and as you get closer and closer, the hum grows louder. And it begins to sound more and more like a song, a melody, something even familiar, almost.
Is anyone else really confused by the humming, sing-songy sound?
I'm like halfway up the stairs. What?
Yeah, I hear our footsteps, nothing else.
I don't hearing humming, but I did hear lots of strange things as I was living down in cells.
What? Is it worth stopping, Eli?
I don't know, it sounds familiar.
You stop in front of those doors and you hear it, and then you feel like an flash of icy cold against your solar plexus as the humming gets louder.
Is it coming?
You pull out
Where's
this
it coming from?
stone necklace ornately made and carved by your own hands. And as you kind of put your ear to it, you can hear a cacophony of potentially thousands of voices, almost like a massive Gregorian choir echoing off of stone halls.
Can we hear that at all?
No.
Okay. What are you doing?
No one else hears this?
What are you talking
No.
about?
It's so loud!
It's your rock. You've had that forever. It's never made noise. What are you talking about?
It hasn't, but until now.
I think you've...
What does it feel like?
Flashing ice cold. Like, not painful. Comforting.
You're making me nervous, Eli.
I don't understand this either. What?
Dorcha, what door is this?
I don't know. I followed my brother here one time, and this is where it's one of the places I've checked in order to see what has been going on here. I have no idea what this door is.
I move my stone closer to it.
And it gets louder and louder. It's almost like there are people standing in a room singing to you.
I touch the stone to the door.
And as you do, there's a reddish, like a deep reddish purple magical energy that begins to resonate around the stone and almost seep bleeding into this wall. And as it extends up through the crack between this cylindrical door, it...
Okay, you guys see that, right?
I step in front of Una and Elaine, just in case.
And as you guys do that, all quizzically looking into this doorway, dimly lit with a small glowing ice shard, is a roundish room, and resting upon semi-familiar dais, 12 scrolls.
Tempting. It's too easy, guys.
This feels like a trap.
Okay. You could stay here. And Moore walks into the room. And he just gingerly picks one up. No. This is real. This is my magic. Or at least this is part of my alchemy that has made this. These are real.
Real or not? What? He just put us in a room next to these things and expected us to leave them alone? No.
My brother has always been arrogant, if not foolish. Let's take them. Let's take them and run. We're leaving. We're running, right?
Yeah. It's gonna paint a target on our back, but we're already here. We were gonna come back and do this anyways. Planning doesn't seem to be in our destiny.
It doesn't.
Sorry, I can't. I think we should just take them and go.
You already see more stacking them up.
Okay. Is my staff in here?
Actually, yes, it is.
What? Okay, guys, I'm fine now.
Yeah, your staff and like some of y'all's knapsacks where you would keep like extra clothing and like rain ponchos and some snacks and stuff. Like basically, he took all your stuff away and put it into this room. And
Elvish Cliff Bar's here.
You said you were hungry.
Lamnia's bread.
Yeah.
And as Moore kind of exits with all the scrolls in his hand, he's like, I don't actually do magic like you guys can.
I guess divvy these up.
Yeah, last time I gave squirrels to Moore was not a good idea, so
No, I don't want these. Please take
I'll
these.
take them.
Okay. So we do the same thing, just split them up.
Sure. Yeah. This is exact opposite reaction of Moore. Please take these away from me.
Let's try this again.
Kind of divvying them up, you guys once again feel like this surging energy rise and swell within you. And with that, you note two new circumstances. First of all, you've realized that the last time holding these and using these, your tiredness within these chambers was not just being frozen and captured and taken. It's like utilizing some of this magic at the time had actually physically drained you a portion. Holding them again reaffirms that for you. And additionally, Eli, as you hold these scrolls, the song has faded a moment. It's like an echo of waves out in the distance. And you swear now you think you hear just a little bit of crying.
These scrolls feel heavier than I remember.
What is their tie to your stone?
I have no idea.
Where did you get the stone?
I picked it up on the job, breaking up rocks and hauling them inward into quarries. This one caught my eye, and it was kind of my reminder of defiance and identity for a long time.
So
It's always just been a rock.
It's a stone from the Killing Fields, though. It's not just any rock.
Yeah, I guess so. But it was never imbued with any magic or anything.
They use the stone from the Killing Fields for a reason. Perhaps it's imbued with magic. Elaine, you're pretty attuned to magic. Do you sense anything from it?
You wanna roll?
What?
Try it out.
You got scrolls.
You got scrolls. Also, I would like to say we are definitely walking and talking.
Yeah. And actually, I would also like to see if I can, now that I have the power of the scroll, speak to the lichen and mosses growing on the walls to see if I can get a bead on
Sure.
his location. Just, basically asking them politely where he is. So we'll go off with you first,
17.
obviously.
17's very good. However, this is only a partial success. With a 17 kind of tapping into these surging powerful scrolls, like kind of then reassessing your eye over to the stone and holding it and flipping over the palm of your hand, the only thing that you can ascertain is that indeed somehow these are connected or almost kin. Exactly how, the nature thereof, this is knowledge long lost in time, and that these scrolls, neither these scrolls nor this pendant can tell you.
They're similar, but not quite the same. I don't know necessarily if it has magic, but it has similar properties to the stones that these scrolls are made out of.
I touched my pendant to one of these scrolls.
It makes a weird sound.
Tink. Smack rock.
Rock and roll. Rock and scroll. Okay, Kian, you had a roll attempting to speak with...
I got a 14 on that one.
14. Kind of digging your fingers into a more earthen part of the catacomb of which you're ascending. At this point, Dorcha says that you guys are almost to the exit, and it's going to be basically a hatch that goes straight up into the air and comes out on ground level. And as you're digging your fingers into this, this too is going to be a partial success. The question was location of Diome. You feel a strange webbing sensation, like a spreading of cobwebs or the lichen itself. There's a network of synapses just rushing and giving you all sorts of stimulant periphery, like humidity, trampling of animals, and tracks of different people far off, miles and miles away. The partial success is that you sense Diome is not touching any earthen soil that you are kind of speaking through a myconid network of.
Yeah. The mycelial structure doesn't seem to be in contact with him, so either he's flying or he's not nearby.
That's good to know.
Let's book it.
Yep, we've got the scrolls. Let's go.
And Dorcha, as she kind of like jumps up a little bit and pulls on this heavy rope and crashing down like a set of stairs, ushering you guys forward, more taking the front. You guys all follow after. The stairs basically collapse back into themselves as Moore turns around and is pulling this rope back up to it. This spot looks like an abandoned old trade outpost where there's like a broken wagon spoke off in a corner and everything's like overgrown and mossy. Like this specific rope itself is actually within a pile of other like torn and tattered rope itself. Seems like a perfect hiding place. And as you guys all affix your gaze towards the horizon, you see maybe a mile or two off in the distance to the northwest, Turach, and the spire of Ram Hall looming in the now golden hour of the morning. Waiting for an ample time to pass through all of the tradesmen and young children flitting about the village of Solithar, you guys successfully and quietly, to your knowledge without being noticed, all make it back to Moore's cottage. Strangely enough, he opens the door and he says, quickly, everybody in. We don't need people to think that we're all here. And as you guys usher your way into the bakery, looking around now, it's in a disheveled mess, like tables turned over and broken. It looks like things have been combed over and searched through.
I start trying to like put chairs back and stuff when I see this. Just doing what I can.
And you see Moore give you like a warm smile and like pats you on the shoulder and begins helping you with it. And he says, don't make it look too good, because we're going into hiding. And
true.
you see...
Just looks so wrong.
You see Dorcha kind of pass by all of you, leaning through, looking behind what appears to be like just a very heavy flour and grain shelving system. She turns around and says, is it still here, Moore? He says, oh yeah, it's still here. Kind of grunts a little bit, moves over. Probably dirty, but I haven't been inside of this for a minute. He kind of shoves his hand into a part of the thatch that's on this edge. You see like a bit of mud caked into it where his bakery was kind of set into a hillside. And in pulls out like this long stick-like rod, and he turns it and you hear a ka-chunk, and then he pushes it back in, and like slowly this bookshelf or this granary shelf begins to slide open. And Dorcha immediately heads into the darkness of this. Moore says, a long time ago, a young elven woman came to me with a sobbing child on a stormy night. You know me, I'm a little paranoid. I made myself a shelter in case of bad things long ago. She says she was running from problems. I did not know that this woman was her. Nobody knows about this except for me and her.
What of the child?
You'll have to ask her. And he heads in.
Before leaving the main area, I'm gonna grab Eli is gonna grab a pitcher of water and kind of splash it on the door in the lower half of the crack of the door and freeze it, just like barricading the door.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a magic check.
Spiritual, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's 20.
That's a 20. Go ahead and describe like how you're doing this and what it looks like, because it's a complete success.
It literally splashes against the crack between the door and the door frame, right about where the handle is, and just as it trickles down in that crack, freezes, creating this perfect seal of ice.
Almost completely transparent to the naked eye, even. That's pretty cool. And as you seal that up and the rest of you file into this room, you see dug and burrowed into the hill behind the bakery, this hollowed out, I would say resting room, waiting room, sitting room. It's really hard to tell. There are very, very old barrels of leather strips and cloth. There's kind of like cloth bags buried into stone slabs full of dried meats, dried cured meats. Strangely enough, there's even a slightly irrigated stream passing through one corner of this and kind of sliding down into a hardened trough that further passes deeper into the hill. And Dorcha, kind of standing in the middle of the room, seems pale and mystified for a moment.
Okay, Dorcha, answers now. Why do you know about this place? How have you met more?
We elves have a knack for being our own worst enemy. As you young ones surely know, living the life that you have. I once had to run from seekers that wished myself and my child harm, simply because of blood. I was trying to make my way home to Turach at the time, but my pursuers caught up with me. And in desperation, I knocked on what seemed to be at the time the warmest, most inviting hearth I could see, in hopes that maybe I would find some amnesty. And she looks over at Moore, and Moore kind of like, yeah, I mean, honestly, you got pretty lucky. If I hadn't have built this for myself long ago, you would have gotten caught.
And where is this child now?
I hope he's doing well. In fact, I'm certain he is. You see like a very, it's not common for elves of like pure blood to shed tears. And one very quick flitting and falling from her face, tear sheds from her eye, and she says, in fact, I know he is doing well, more specifically because he's not with me. She kind of sits down over in a wicker chair, creaking underneath her. I find it hard myself to speak of it. Why don't you just read about it? She pulls out this soft, leather-backed journal. But more importantly, and she looks up at Elaine, I believe you're the one that needs to read it.
Why me?
You'll see.
The account of an Asari legacy. 2153. Post-Land Wars, Northern Kingdom of Turach.
500 years have passed, and blood can still be seen in the killing fields. Elf, dwarf, human. But many Asari perished. My heart continues to grieve at our loss, but there is hope. The Gaelans have befriended us. Together, perhaps we can finally rebuild. 2157, post-Land Wars, Northern Kingdom of Turach. The cornerstone of Ramhal was laid today. Dial insisted on doubling the workforce. He wishes it to be done before spring's thaw. My brother is relentless, but I have not the heart to intervene. The Gaons are so weary. Even with a sorry blood, they are weaker, fragile. A stranger entered our land not 2 days ago. A strange elf, most assuredly not Gaelan. 2161 post-land wars. Romhall Tower. I gaze south, across the Kindar Sea. Months have passed since my love has gone, driven away by my brother. I imagine I can see him sailing over that sea, but no. If he had survived the waters and Sadark's cruel teeth, he would be far gone, to the mountains and beyond. But I have a precious reminder of our secret wedding and our months together. 2162 post-land wars, Solithar village. The day is fast approaching. I will soon see your tender frame, your tiny hands, your familiar face. Will you look like your father? It would be a blessing to me, but perhaps a curse to you. To appear so different from the Gaelans and the Asari. But we shall see. Sooner rather than later. Kind Moor has taken us in, as I could no longer hide my condition. Should my brother discover you? Alas, Moor has found a kind Gaelan family who will take you in. 2162 post-land wars, Solithar village. Our time together was short. So much shorter than even my brief marriage. But you will be safe. I will watch you grow from afar. I will protect you with my last breath, my sweet Elaine.
What?
You see her slow, consistent tears dripping down her face, smiling at you.
You're my mother?
You've seen what he can do. I hid you. I kept you away from their eyes. Moore helped me find a family for you.
Why did you never visit? Why did you let me be alone?
Unfortunately for me, my visitations were from windows and spires as you caused chaos in the streets of Turach. I've watched you grow into such a strong and capable young elf man. There could never, ever be a single word or string of sentences that could tell you how miserable I have been watching you grow so far, yet so close.
What's his name?
It's been years since I've said his name out loud. Your father's name was Artok.
Artok.
And just like that journal entry states, you're the spitting image of him.
It's good to know now. After being alone all this time. Hated for being a hybrid freak. I was whipped repeatedly, ostracized. I mean, we're all hybrid freaks here, but You know I'm more different. You saw what I went through.
And my soul died with every lash, with every command, with every beating, with every moment of starvation. There were times where I would try to help in little ways, sending someone to plant some flowers outside your window, or talking with Moore and making sure that he was well supplied and letting him know that the children were needing extra attention and care.
Care. That's what was needed. A hug. A family. I thought I was alone. I was alone. I get that you were in a hard spot, but it's not like I asked for any of this. Definitely didn't ask to be more different than them.
I know. I should have just fled south. I should have just taken you with me and fled south and never looked back, but...
Why would you go back to him?
In a way, I was trying to make sure that he couldn't get out of hand, but that too I failed. It seems in my naivety, much of my biggest regrets in life were thinking I could change something and make a difference in the place that I grew up in and loved. Elaine, I could never say it enough. I am so sorry.
I don't forgive you. Not yet. But if you want change, you start now. You're here. Stay. Help us.
I'm not going anywhere. I promise.
Don't make a promise you can't keep.
As Elaine notates, don't make a promise that you can't keep. And the six of you, muffled through layers of dirt and thatch, hear a popcorning of screams of bloody murder. And a crashing sound. Creaking groans. Kian, you hear a whisper and a root dangling next to your ear. The bad ones are here.
We've got to go.
What did you hear?
I don't know, but they're bad and they're here. I can only assume it's him.
Yeah.
I mean, are we not hidden in here fairly well?
Do you want to just sit here and wait and see if he can't find us?
It sounded like he was right outside.
Yeah, exactly. So how long will it take for him to find us underground?
Dull thuds of rock hitting dry earth and rolling, more screams. The smell, very, very faint smoke.
More, is there a backside out of this tunnel? An escape?
There's the escape route that I had for my other that we use normally, but
Where does this water go?
this one kind of just feeds into the rest of the estuary that heads west.
Sounds like a better option than going back out this secret entrance into the bakery.
Is this something we'd be able to leave through?
Maybe I cannot do this, but maybe with your power.
Yeah, Eli, freeze the river. We'll slide down it like we did the stairs.
Make a little slide, I guess.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a slide, but my point being that we can travel along this river. I'm just grasping for a plan. I'm so tired of flying by the seat of our pants. If we could plan to get to the estuary and escape
Let's maybe we should see what's going on.
Surely these stone scrolls emanate some sort of magic that they're able to seek out. Perhaps that's why they're here in the first place.
Yeah.
Why sack Sol Lothar?
It could be something similar to how we found him.
Right.
We need to keep moving.
Who's to say he doesn't have a stone?
Fair point.
You said that they made 13. 13th. The mages in Ramhall made a 13th.
1, 2, 3.
We only have 12.
Shoot.
And as he says that, blackened roots begin pushing their way into this interior chamber that you guys are in.
Go.
Seizing clumps of earth and lifting them up off of the ground. And you see a swirling tornado of chaos and unfold around you as your hiding spot has been now revealed. And you see the town of Solothar in utter chaos.
You guys need a more convincing argument to go?
And that's where we're going to end this episode.
Dang. Cliffhangers. I love them.
Listen to me!
This would have happened anyway.
No.